Hello, welcome to GH&Co podcast show, episode 3. Here is my new jingle. Podcast, podcast, pod! GH&Co show, GH&Co show. I'm here today with Josh.
Hello there.
And Alex isn't in this episode. This is, he's at university, and so we've got Josh here. How's it going, Josh? How are you doing?
Yeah, it's going very good. It's very difficult to begin with, to obviously start off and know what to say, but we'll have to proceed and see how we get on.
Here's how we can do this. We've not got any paper with us today, so what we're going to do instead is I'm going to ask Josh how he's been getting on in this past week. How have you been getting on, Josh?
This past week? It's been a bit of a heavy one. I mean, obviously the the beginning of it was Amsterdam, midweek through Amsterdam actually. Mm-hmm. Then coming back to hospitality.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously Leastock.
That's 3 big events.
Definitely, pretty hectic week.
In 1 week. Recount an amusing anecdote from each event, please.
An amusing anecdote. Well, the Amsterdam is a bit of a blur. Obviously, there's a lot of Michael bumbling about, trying to figure out where he was going. Mm-hmm. Hospitality was noteworthy for the new metric artist, which is recently signed to Hospital. Oh. And Leastock, space for me.
Space. Gotta be space.
Space, yeah.
Magic Fly.
Relic of the 90s.
Yeah. I looked at the pictures, he does look quite old, that space bloke now. How old is he?
Now. I mean,
yeah, I know.
When they first began, they were pretty young.
When did they begin?
It was
quite early.
Mid-90s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I was aware of them, I think it was about, maybe when I was about 7 or 8, something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe 9. My memory's not that great.
I'll let you. We've not really got anything to say because we've not been following the news. What has been the big news story since the last time? It was the Boston bombing, the last one that we did. I did with Alex.
Bombing. Obviously, the latest is the Woolwich.
Oh, the Woolwich head removal.
Yeah. Not too pleasant, a bit bleak, unfortunately, to talk about.
One of the fun stories.
To say.
Oh no, you know, isn't it a fun story though? An uplifting news story. Is those 3 girls who were held captive in Cleveland.
That's not very new, actually. That was,
no, it's quite old now, actually.
A few weeks ago, but yeah, pretty.
That really lifted my spirits. That
stuff.
One. It was a good story. That's one of those good juicy stories, though, you know.
Mm. Good story to hear that. Obviously, they came out of it, but pretty horrific when you hear the backstory.
Yeah, but I don't know if you saw. Did you see the documentary on BBC 3 about that captivity thing?
No, I didn't know.
It was a fine documentary, but the grandmother of one of the girls who was held captive was interviewed for this documentary, right? And she had a beard. She just had a full-grown beard.
Nice. What, you mean?
She was a woman.
Didn't get herself polished up or anything?
No, she knew she was going to be on telly, yeah? And she just didn't think to have a shave.
Well, maybe that's supposed to be like her crazy little, like, nerk or something, you know, like
her affectation.
Yeah, like,
it is quite an affectation.
Everyone has their own little thing, I suppose.
This wasn't that little; it was quite big. It was just it grew in 2 sprouts from the corners of her mouth down, like in a little goatee.
I mean, was this noteworthy? Was this something that was mentioned by the documentary?
No, but I was thinking it was Jake Humphries who was doing it, and when he turned up, he must have been like, "Oh fucking hell, she's just got a beard. This woman's got a beard. I'm gonna have to have a discussion about her granddaughter being." And
when you say a beard, do you mean like a little wispy blonde?
It was wispy,
beard, or was it actually like a dark thing?
It wasn't like a thick Teddy Pendergrass beard. It was a thin little wispy white beard, but still
nice,
unacceptable. We're going to play a jingle now. It's an old favourite, jingle number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for Daniel Winston Hill and Samuel Desmond Green.
GH&Co, you cast. That was.
Oh shit! I stopped it too early.
Just out of interest, where does the voice at the beginning come from?
It is me.
That's you. What
interesting question. What an interesting question. I am talking in my early newscaster voice.
Yeah, it sounds like something from the 1950s or something like that. Like
very perceptive.
war. What is it about?
The idea behind it was, here's the concept for that jingle. It was like, the fanfare was meant to be like a royal wedding fanfare. And I was thinking, or not royal wedding, but like royal ceremony, and I was thinking it can represent the coronation of our dear Queen.
If I'm remembering it correctly.
Yes, I've got. We'll listen to it again. It's such a wonderful jingle. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for Daniel Winston Hill and Samuel Desmond Green.
Green Hill and Co. You cast. That was good, wasn't it?
Like that.
What was that at the end? Is that like?
That's not a good. That's a bad jingle. It's quite racist.
Is that going on to the next one? Is it?
Yeah, it's another jingle that's not so hot. Did you hear what Alex said about you when he was on here in episode 1?
I didn't actually. No.
He said that you would be shit.
That I would be shit.
He said that you'd be awful as a person on this podcast.
And what is my response to that?
I don't know. You tell me. You tell Alex. He'll be listening.
That's a very good question.
How did you rate Alex? Here we go. That's a good way that we can do it.
That's very difficult for me to actually think about.
I'll tell you how I
guess he started off quiet, and he also also he dissed Mythbusters. I mean, how can you go wrong with Mythbusters?
Yeah, he did more so than me. And he didn't swear nearly enough. It was quite offensive, his lack of swearing.
Well, probably trying to be clean about it.
It's supposed to be an explicit podcast.
Oh, is it? Fucking hell.
Yeah, did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
The only word that hasn't been said yet.
I might turn up my...
turn up the swearing.
My swearing.
The only word that...
Well, there has to be something that actually gets me annoyed for me to swear.
Oh, yeah? Like, tell them about the people who punched your wing mirror, Josh.
Fuck's sake.
I like that story. Tell me again.
Okay, well... basically, I have been staying over in Colchester. And I was on a late shift... Oh, by the way, I do late shifts. I'm like one of those night workers, one of those crazy people you hear about. I came out to my car and it looked like someone had gone down the road and individually punched every wing mirror. But when I looked at my car, it looked kind of okay, so I wasn't worried and I got in. I think we were already running a bit late, so I was a bit pissed off to begin with. Yeah. And I look over and I use my left hand mirror in order to park. And I use it to see the curb so that I can reverse in. And
that's what it's for, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I use it for anyway. That's how I was always told to use it.
Yeah, okay.
So I come out and I see that it's actually slightly wonky, and it looks like some fucking cunt has come along and just like proper punted. But obviously, it's to some degree it's quite sturdy, but no, they've bent it, and it looks like it's going to need some new glue or something, which I need to do.
That's fucked up.
I was not fucking happy in the slightest.
Josh, you know what you just did?
What?
You're the first person to say cunt on the podcast. Yeah, some fucking cunt snapped off my aerial as well.
Yeah. That's...
we don't have any news for this episode, and I know that's going to be quite disappointing, but we've got something quite intriguing that's been discovered. It's a rare masterwork. If you'd just like to read the title of this masterwork, just so for the people at home.
The Lost Islands, illustrated by Sam Beep and author Sam Beep.
Look at the blurb first.
There's actually quite a bit of detail on that cover. You've got a little is that like a toucan?
We'll put a picture of the novel in the video so that you can see what it's all about.
Got like a sort of Union Jack and the a skull and crossbones. This is quite interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing.
I'll read you the blurb on the back. Recommended retail price £5. Pounds after the 5.
Net.
That's the net. And then we've got a barcode as well.
You can put the ISDN.
And I'll read you the blurb. Sam got washed up on a beach of an island. Will he be safe, or will the lobe kill him?
The what?
The lobe. Will the lobe kill him, or will it be the opposite, or will it be neither?
Is that actually what it said?
Yeah.
Just out of interest, when was this book produced?
I think this book was written, I wrote this novel in about 1998. So it's a classic by now. I mean, Sold slightly fewer copies than Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but it was released at the same time. Probably a close second.
Probably a rare collectible these days, I guess.
So where were we? Or will it be the opposite, or will it be neither? Question mark. Read the book to find out more.
Let's do that.
Let's find out what happens. Before we begin, we have a map, just to set the scene.
It's all very Tolkien-like.
There's a key that tells you everything in the map. I'll tell you some of the features. Lake Duckhead, River Taro, the Boggerib, the Old Plant, the Old Purr,
It's the Forest Stray.
the Forest Stray, the Hood Track, Tower Korg, Shale Walls, the Never-Ending Arch, and Grav Volcano.
You've also got a key in there as well, highlighting all the areas.
The mountains, the volcano, the topical, the Purr, and the cave.
I'm guessing you're going to put scans up of this,
Oh, I might take some pictures.
so that our listeners.
Here we go. Now, chapter 1. It begins straight away, in with the action. Once, a long time ago, I was on an army helicopter. We were going to America for an air show. We were over France, and there was an electrical fault, and the propeller snapped, and the siren went off. Straight into action. There's no holding back. No preamble, no fucking about. Let's get going.
I'm guessing this isn't based on true life events.
This is based on a true story.
Oh, okay.
It crashed into the sea. I pressed the ejector seat. The pilot pressed his, but his head got chopped off by a propeller. I got washed up on a desert island in a river. I got washed down the river towards a waterfall leading to Duckhead Lake. See, see the key. It all makes sense now.
Map, yeah.
That's chapter 1. Chapter 2. I went to find a shelter and some food, and I found a banana tree and coconut tree. I got 2 coconuts and 4 bananas. I got a stone and cracked 1 coconut open and ate a banana and saved the rest for later. The coconut tasted like fish because it was rotten, but the banana just tasted normal.
I have to say, there's certainly a lot of attention to detail on all the individual things that
On the
come out of the
specifics.
story. Yeah, like for example, you didn't need to go into detail about the pilot's head being chopped off, or
Wow, that was quite an eventful moment.
or the actual river names and things. I mean, how would you know that?
Well, the key explains to the reader what's going on. Okay, here we go. I was getting thirsty, so I went to Duckhead Lake. The water did not taste nice. Across the lake, there was a dinosaur and a robot with a man in. He shot the dinosaur and took it to a village, to a man with a big mask on. I followed him. The man with a mask had a stick with a skull on top. His name was Loeb. He lived in a castle on top of a hill. Intrigue at the end of chapter 2. What will happen next?
Intrigue, indeed. Is it chapter per page?
Yeah, chapter per page. Chapter 3. The Loeb said, I hate reptiles, especially dinosaurs. The Loeb walked off in anger, and the 2 men followed behind. One of them short and fat with a bowler hat on, the other one had a top hat and a long waistcoat.
Very minimalistic imagery on this one.
They went after the Loeb. Who are these people? They're going after the Loeb? Are they his helpers? I don't know. We'll find out more. The Loeb turned his head sharply and saw me. And I'm not really sure what's happening here, but to emphasise the head turning and the seeing of me, there's
I see.
like 3 spaces, 3 lines of empty, of nothing.
It also looks like you sort of tried to incorporate it into the actual illustrations. Was that an intentional?
That was an intentional artistic decision.
Oh, okay.
He told the men to catch me, so they did. I went through his legs and he fell out the window. He fainted. I jumped out of the window and slid down the guttering into a boat. You might notice that I jumped out of the window twice in that scenario.
But they captured you.
They
captured you.
I'll read it again. He told the men to catch me, so they did. I went through his legs and he fell out of the window. He fainted. I jumped out of the window. I slid down the guttering into a boat.
I see. So you performed an evasive manoeuvre.
Yeah, that was interesting, that bit. I remember that bit well. That was probably my best bit. Chapter 4 now, the 4th and final chapter. I was floating down the river in the boat out to sea. I ran ashore on an island, so I went to explore. I found an Indian tribe. They gave me some food, and I told them about the lobe locking dinosaurs up. I don't know how I found out that he was locking dinosaurs up, because so far we've only seen one dinosaur and one robot with a man in.
Yeah.
And they shot the dinosaur, if you remember.
A plot point for a sequel, maybe.
They didn't like it. This is the islanders. So they went back to the lobe. We approached the castle, and then we attacked and set all the dinosaurs loose. We let the dinosaurs go. The lobe stood on top of a tower, and then it started to rain, and a bolt of lightning hit the lobe, and he disappeared. Then a plane landed, so I went there was nobody in it, so I flew off the end.
Okay, I might have to read that last page again.
Do you want to have a little read?
Yeah, I'm just going to have a little look at that. There's a couple of questions I have about the ending. Okay, so you said about the previous mention of dinosaurs. Where did that come into it previously?
I think you'll find in chapter 2 there is a dinosaur that gets shot by a robot with a man in. Yeah, Duckhead Lake, there you see.
Oh yeah, you shot the dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
And presumably captured all the other dinosaurs. So this is basically a prequel to Jurassic Park.
Yes! I think it was a major influence on this piece.
Ah, okay. So you need to get Jeff Goldblum involved in that then.
Jeff Goldblum can be in this one. It was quite lucky as well that plane landed and there was just nobody in it. I just took it, and I knew how to fly a plane.
Vinny, you got a helicopter crash as well.
Mm-hmm.
I see that he's also done a put the end in a sort of
The end.
off-centre, but
I indented the end.
yeah. Stylistic though. The illustrations are quite nice.
How would you mark that book out of 10?
What, based on factors or based on...
Just as a novel, as a piece of work.
As a novel, it's more of a children's book, if anything.
What? What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that my book's not very good?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, generally with novels, you don't see such, detailed illustrations and maps. Except maybe with something
perhaps
like Lord
it's a
of the
graphic
Rings.
novel.
Graphic novel's more like comic book. I'd say basically that the attention to detail and the effort is probably a good solid 9.
Right. And the plot?
The plot, I think had something going, but had a few holes.
What?
Somewhere in the a few plot points that weren't quite resolved.
What, such as?
Such as the missing dinosaurs and the.
Yeah, you've got me back to rights there.
Also, I can't recall as well how you were actually rescued, and also who is the protagonist of this particular piece.
I'm the protagonist, but the antagonist is the lobe.
Oh yeah.
I knew he was. There's a picture of the lobe.
Yeah, he's also on the front cover.
He's on the front cover. He's the masked gentleman.
He obviously plays an important role in this.
Uh-huh. And there's his castle there, and then there's his castle flying above his castle.
What is that, like a lake or a waterfall? Or?
Yeah, it's like a waterfall, and there's a crab, and a shipwreck, and a dinosaur.
And a helicopter?
No, I think the helicopter's on page 1.
They got washed away.
There's me. Ejected.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what that is. That might be the blood of the man who's got his head chopped off.
What's this, a parachute?
Yeah.
The nuclear symbol?
Mm. I think it is quite a good book, to be fair. So, yeah, okay. What now? We milked that for all it was worth.
What other pieces do you have to share? Any other items of interest?
My autobiography.
Autobiography.
This one's actually quite long. I don't know if we want to read it all today.
Oh, blimey. What is this, like a piece of work?
This was, I'll tell you what I got for this. An excellent effort, Sam, and an interesting read. A-, level 5A.
Oh, they're actually giving...
I marked this one.
That's great. What year was this from?
This would be from, I expect this is from about 2004. So, I've progressed somewhat since then. I'll read the introduction. Perhaps I'll just read the first page. Yeah, and then we can see what we're thinking about it from there.
Saw Father Christmas.
Introduction. I've decided to write this autobiography to sum up the first 13 years of my life. 13 years, so that'd be, 2004, 2003. But rather disappointingly, it's only about 10 or 20 pages long. But that doesn't bother me hugely, because those 13 years summed up in those 15 pages or so was the best 13 years of my life, because they were the only 13 years of my life.
Got a point.
This book will tell you about my ups and downs and the other 12 years in the middle. I hope you enjoy reading it as much as I have living it.
Is there a follow-up to this?
Yeah, that's the introduction. Then we've got the beginning. It seems logical to start at the beginning, so I will. I was born on the of the times I was right. Luckily, not... oh, fucking hell. This is a plot point. It was near Christmas, basically. Luckily, not too close to Christmas, or I would get one present for my birthday and Christmas. That's a major concern when you're a child. Children who are born on Christmas Day only get one present for Christmas and birthday. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that is.
Unless it's an expensive present.
I've actually had it happen to me once, my birthday being in November. But no other time in my actual life. And I've known other people who have this problem, and it is a genuine problem for some people. Yeah, I can kind of see what people are going for with it in terms of
cost cutting. That's what they're fucking going for.
It's cost cutting. It's more for convenience as well. I think.
Yeah, just buy the one.
Like, oh yeah, we'll just get you one big, massive present that's not quite as good. There's two individual presents that you get either side of the year.
And also, if they're going to get if they would spend £20 on Christmas and birthday, say, and if you went near Christmas and they get you something that's £30, it's obviously more than you would get for either or, but it still doesn't amount to the same as
two individual presents.
And that is bullshit. And that is not permitted.
Without a doubt. It's not permitted, but it still happens to be.
It was snowing at the time and very cold. I was born quite late at night, so people had to leave parties and get out of bed to come and see me. And then phoned up everyone they knew to tell them or her about it. Perhaps that doesn't make quite...
Is that like the start of a sentence?
Yeah. I can imagine it now, being phoned up at 4 o'clock in the morning and being shouted at down the line. It's Northern Irish. I'm a grandparent. I don't think I was expected at the time because nobody was ready for me. Toddlers.
With an entrance. When you first started that bit and you said it seems logical to start at the beginning, I thought... I don't know why, it's probably just my head just thinking too deep into it. I thought that it was going to be like a really graphic piece.
My head.
The doorways opened and I saw the light and emerged into the hospital room.
A ball of blood.
Oh.
That's too far. And all of the horrible fluids. Okay, here we go.
Jam down your throat.
Here's a different
doctor smacking your ass.
Here's a different question. If you had to drink either a pint...
Oh, I know what's coming.
A pint of shit and spunk. And this it's been put on a hot wall in Morocco and it's all crusted over.
What is it always with it being heated up and being cooked?
I think it's worse if it's got a crust of smeg over the top.
Because it's more like a sort of because then you have to crunch it as you eat it. You can't just you can't kind of just down it. You have to actually
it's like a creme brulee.
Work it round your mouth in some horrible, nasty way.
A pint of that, or a pint of the fluid that comes out with a baby. One or the other. What would you have to have? What would you have?
Okay, so was it piss and shit dried?
Piss and shit and smeg.
I'm probably, as gross as it is, it's going to be gross either way, but I'm probably leaning more towards the baby fluid.
I totally agree. I'm glad to hear that.
Mainly because my first point, you'd just be able to down it. And you kind of after it's gone, you just wash it away or something with a bit of Coke. But
what, the baby fluid?
Yeah. But the piss and shit and smegma is kind of like a bit of a solid mass. So no contest, really.
Yeah, baby fluid every day.
Yeah. Well, not every day, but in this one particular case.
If you'd like to tell us which option you take, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. I know we've got 4 listeners as well, so I want to see those comments.
Oh, nice.
They have to leave the comment.
I'll be solely disappointed if there's no comment.
Yeah. Okay. Toddlers. Oh yeah, actually, while I'm on our listeners, we've got 4 listeners now, right? Alex listening for the first time, and Tom, my friend from uni.
Has he listened before, Alex? Has he listened to his own podcast? Or,
no.
Judging by the fact that he's recorded it, he probably wouldn't.
I don't think he listened to it. And Hannah and Zara, right? And they've both said on numerous occasions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy the podcast.
Is that what they sound like?
They say, I like it. I really enjoy it. Oh, baby. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's good. You don't need to tell me that. And they're like, I like it, but it's just, it's so long. I had to go to the shops halfway through it. I was like, an hour. That's podcast.
Well, this is an actual comment.
This is what I've heard.
Okay.
From both parties, right? Here's an idea, right? Listen to half an hour and then turn it off and go away for a couple of days and then come back and listen to the other half. And stop fucking whinging to me. I'm the one providing the free content here.
Hey, listeners, we love you. This is
So do that. But that's not a bad idea, because people have actually said, why don't you do 2 a week? 2 a week? I've not got time to do this shit twice a week. I mean, it's just a load of shit. I'm not doing this twice a week.
I suppose...
Actually, wait a minute. No, okay, in about 5 minutes we'll tell you to stop listening, and you can stop listening.
Well,
that would be like...
That'll be the first part.
A split point. That's the point 1. But I mean, you know what I mean? Know what I'm trying to say here?
True, but I can kind of see what they're going for with that, because it's... You can't really... There's no stopping in the discussion. It's just constant discussion.
Yeah, excellent discussion.
It's like if you have like a 60-minute DJ mix or something like that, and then you have to pause it in the middle of it. It's kind of
it's incredibly amusing.
Incredibly amusing.
Yeah, it is. This is an award-winning podcast. Anyway, so don't fucking whinge at me anymore.
Yeah, you tell those listeners.
I'll stop doing it. I don't know how much you'd hate to hear that.
Well, this podcast isn't really going to particular plan as it was supposed to be. I mean, we were supposed to have Dan here for the first episode.
He's a gaping anus. Do you want to have we got any good stories about Dan? I don't really think so. He's such a poor sport. I said to him at Leastock this weekend, it's like, oh Dan, so we've got to do a podcast on Monday. It's like, no mate, no, I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah, he's actually stopped saying that he will do it now.
What an odious person.
Basically, the times the podcasts were being done, even though they were as flexible as possible, weren't convenient.
Just any time of the week. I don't know. Toddlers. From the age that I could walk, when I was about 2, I was banished to the world of wearing dungarees until I was about 5. That was all I wore. If you check any pictures of me between 1992 and 1995, I was wearing them.
If you check any pictures of me between...
Let's see. Front cover.
Sounds like...
Dungarees.
This is going to be sort of set in a dystopian future where there's library archives of your life. Photographs from 1992 to 95. Following on from that, there's no recorded evidence of you ever existing.
We're immortalised. Yeah, we're immortalised by this podcast as it's broadcast
is the only
into
evidence.
Space on the radio waves.
This could be listening to. And
when do you reckon is the? Actually, that's a good question. Better than all this autobiography shit. When do you reckon is the last time that this podcast will be listened to?
That's a very good question. I was just thinking that. I suppose it comes down to when... Well, this will be uploaded to YouTube, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
So this will be floating around on YouTube somewhere. Does YouTube routinely go through and
clear out? No, I think that there's been talk that they might... This was years ago, though. I think they were talking that if there was a video that had been on for a year and it had less than 100 views, that they were going to take it down, because it's obviously a load of shit that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure if I've heard of that actually coming into effect.
No, it never came into effect because there was uproar about it. So when do you reckon? It's an intriguing question.
last time that was ever listened to? Well,
Do you reckon we'll still be alive when it happens? Yes.
yeah. It'll probably be
In the next week.
I don't know, like far, far into the future when you're like older or something, and you've got loads of you're clearing out your old hard drives or something, and you find a copy of this on there. Or you just come to remember it, and you're like, oh yeah, remember that little shitty podcast that we did?
Remember that old
They only had 4 listeners.
What? Oh no, I don't.
Probably now only like 1 listener, since you've offended all the rest of them.
I don't remember this. What do I think I remember, but what is it?
It was called the Green Hill and
Co podcast. Yeah, I like that one. That's my favourite.
Put it in the picture.
I like it. Put it in the picture. Okay, where were we? I didn't really remember them being that bad, but even today, my aunt frequently calls me the dungaree kid.
Interesting.
I used to eat things...
Is that still true?
No. I used to eat things that I would never eat now, like peas. I think the stage goes like this.
Is that all that sentence was?
Yeah, I do elaborate on it, as you will see.
Okay.
I think the stage goes like this. Born, spelt B-O-U-R-N. Born, eat anything. Child, eat most things. Teenagers, eat junk. Young adult, eat junk. Adult, eat most things. Would you... I'd not agree with that, actually, because...
You wouldn't agree with that one now?
No. Would you say that we're young adults?
Yes.
I don't eat anything, but I think adult... Oh, no. Yeah, no, I don't eat anything, but I certainly don't only eat junk food.
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, I was right then.
That's not 100% true, but I don't have a particularly great diet. So I think if you're summarising generally, then that probably is true.
You've been enjoying the Green&Co podcast. This is the end of part 1. Please join us again in 4 days for part 2.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah, we were saying that we didn't want to stuff in the middle of a discussion with this split point, but we have. And if you're listening again in 4 days, then unlucky, you might have to go back and listen to the last 10 minutes to remember what we were talking about.
Recap.
So fuck you for not listening to our podcast all the way through.
We're not doing a recap for you, so you know.
Yeah.
Get listening.
Get listening. Listen up. Ears open. Yeah. Where was I? Where junk food.
Junk food.
Oh, okay. Oh, actually, no. That was kind of the end of a little paragraph. Actually,
adults eat most things.
This is a continuation of toddlers.
I see. There's been some corrections in there.
Mm-hmm. That's it. I haven't got any bad toddler stories. My mum said I was very good at that age. She also said if I was crying, just sit me in front of a telly watching Playdays and I would forget about it and be quiet for the whole time it was on.
Oh, I remember Playdays.
Yeah.
It always used to have the bus driver who was steering the bus as if he was swerving, but the bus was going straight forward.
He was going.
Do you remember that?
Fuck it out!
It was like a cat crossing the road or something. It was just like, get the fucking man. Little merry-go-man. Merry-go-round man.
Where was we? Playdays. Where am I?
Distracted by Playdays. I wonder if you can still see that.
Playdays?
Yeah. There must be some YouTube videos
Google
or something.
It's famous. I've got it on video.
You've actually got it recorded.
My best friends too. And it had all Playdays.
Oh no, and it used to have that really annoying bitch, Peggy. I used to fucking hate her as a kid, yeah. She was so annoying. There used to be like it'd be some kids or something going through a forest, and then they were looking for Peggy. That's right. They go looking.
Oh wait a minute, is Peggy a puppet?
Peggy was like the only puppet in the programme that didn't have a mouth that moved.
Fucking Peggy.
And I remember as a kid being annoyed by that, being like, they haven't put any fucking effort into her, have they? I mean, look at the size of her. They didn't even have a thing where she like bobbed forward or anything. She was literally just kind of like a teddy bear. But
how big was Peggy? Was she not very big?
I can't remember. I think she was supposed to be like absolutely tiny, but they never showed her being picked up or anything like that. They just showed her sitting in some tree, and she'd be like, "Well done, you found me. You well done." Like,
what a load of shit.
It was
Playdays.
It was bollocks, and she used to annoy me because she always had some like sensible message, which
Oh,
You know,
do me a
if
favour.
if you're any kid, you don't pay attention to that shit.
Actually, you know what? That's reminded me, like, as kids, being aware that it's a kid's show that you're watching, yeah. Because you know Trevor and Simon.
Vaguely.
They do a podcast as well, or they used to do a podcast.
Okay.
Shouts out to Trevor and Simon, the podcast brethren. Their podcast is nearly as good as ours.
Oh, okay.
It's not quite as good.
Higher production quality, but not as good, or
Higher production, yeah, it definitely has higher production quality.
Okay.
I really like Trevor and Simon. They are really funny, and they should come back.
I'll have to check.
You know what? Here's the biggest unjust thing. Ant and Dec are a pair of unfunny cunts.
All they do now is game shows. I'm not sure they even do that. They're just on the fucking Morrison advert. That's their only claim to fame.
They're
at the
so
moment.
shit. Just a pair of little fucking pricks, and they're not funny. Whereas Trevor and Simon
And all
are
they do
actually
is
funny.
just go and that's all they do.
What? No, the poker face. Fuck off.
This.
Get Trevor and Simon on telly because they're good. Anyway, yeah. So Trevor and Simon. Where was I? What was I talking about?
I don't know, but you made me think of Adam and Joe. I don't know if you've heard about.
Oh yeah, they do a podcast.
I would have imagined so. They had their own sort of TV show.
Six Music show. Yeah. What about them?
Or the Adam and Joe show. I don't know. You just reminded me of them.
Oh, right.
That's kind of what I thought of in my head as you were.
Thanks for interrupting me for that.
Oh, that's quite alright. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. You know.
There's no doubt.
Just interrupting the talent. Anyway, yeah. Trevor and Simon, right? They used to be on Live and Kicking, yeah, and that was like a kids show.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it's a little bit like SMTV Live, but without those
sort
little
of
pricks on it.
Early teens. That's what it's.
Well, yeah, but it had Rugrats on it as well, so it's like kids watched it. I used to watch it for Rugrats. Anyway, they used to have like they had French and Saunders on it as guests.
Oh yeah.
Rick Mayall and Ade Edmonton were on there as guests once.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not kids' personalities, and they're not pop stars. They're comedians broadly working for a post-watershed demographic, right?
There's a lot of comedians that do that, though. I'm sure
But
they do that.
They don't go on kids' TV shows anymore. You wouldn't have.
What about things like Sesame Street? Sometimes you see them.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They have singers and things on
That's
there.
the Americans. They're more enlightened than.
I don't know if they've
That's
had
when it
like
comes to
Snoop
that.
Dogg on there or something, but he's like, "You fucking shit with them motherfucking,"
That don't be great.
and then he just goes on like Sesame Street. and just
NWA on
talks about
Sesame
trying
Street.
to- Well, what could that be instead?
But like, I mean, the thing is, Live and Kicking used to appreciate that kids also watch adult TV. Because I remember there was a time when I used to watch Have I Got News for You and Playdays. They were both. I watched them both. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but did you watch it because your parents used to watch
No, I used to like it. I used to like watching it.
I remember always watching
I think that was probably.
2.4 Children.
Oh yeah, that was shit. Wasn't it?
That was just one of those shows that you used to watch. when
Who
you were
was in
younger.
that? Can't really remember.
I can't remember.
Do you remember
That's all.
Birds of a Feather?
No.
Oh, that was shit. Well, no, actually, it wasn't that bad. So many 90s
Just trying to think
sitcoms.
of other-
Game On, do you remember that?
Game On? No, I don't remember that one.
The Britass Empire.
You must have watched a lot of things.
Oh, it's got Chris Barry's in that. Rimmer.
Oh yeah.
Rimmer's in it. He runs a
Rimmer.
sports centre. But yeah, so like they used to appreciate. Now they're so I don't know. Like they want to look after kids so much that they can't be aware. They can't have.
The thing is obviously we've grown up with those programs, so now they're like of our generation. But whenever I watch kids' TV shows now, it seems like there's always very little effort that goes into them.
Yeah.
I mean, before our generation of TV shows, and in fact before then, sort of things like Muffin the Mule and Bill and Ben and all that sort of stuff. They used to have puppets, didn't they? And then ours sort of continue on with the puppets, and now they're very much kind of like they're just like a cartoon or like a really bad animation, sort of like the rejects who worked on Shrek or something got like fired for fucking about in the staff room and just kind of like went and worked on all these kids' TV shows. Although saying that, there probably are some proper good ones that I just haven't seen. Seeing as I don't watch a lot of kids' TV shows.
Who was
So I say.
This weekend, somebody said to me, right, thinking of TV shows, somebody said to me, two people basically said to me, like, you hate everything. When we were talking about stuff, we were talking about Ricky Gervais being a bit of a prick.
Who, me?
I think you might have been there.
Yes, I was there when we were talking about Ricky Gervais.
We were talking about Ricky Gervais being shit and Jim Carrey also being shit, right?
I don't think Jim Carrey's shit.
Well, so, what people were talking about, yeah. Who was that girl who was sat with us at Lee Stock? Not her.
I know who you mean. Oh yeah.
What was her name? Kaylee.
Kaylee, that's the one.
Kaylee. She was saying like, I hate Jim Carrey, right? She was saying like, she said Bruce Almighty, what a load of shit. And I was like, you're right, Bruce Almighty is really shit. And then she went
on to say
she was like, go on.
Evan Almighty was better than Bruce Almighty.
And that
it was actually a good film. And I mean that.
Bruce Almighty is miles better than Evan Almighty.
Yeah, and I mean that film was panned universally by critics, and anyone I've ever asked about it says they hate that film. That is probably the only person I've ever heard say that they like Evan Almighty. But
so I was saying to her basically that was shit, and basically everything that was mentioned I hated, and a similar conversation happened in Witherspoons later on. This was with Sam, Lady Sam, Kitchen Supremo.
Oh yeah.
She was saying about some old shit I don't fucking know. Bloody rabbiting on about a load of old shit. And she was talking about something else, and then I was saying, no, that's a load of bollocks as well. And then she was like, oh yeah, but the thing with you is you just hate everything. I don't hate everything.
But you personally?
Yeah. See, the thing with you is that you hate everything. And I was like, I don't hate everything. I do like certain things, but there is a lot of shit out there, and I hate shit.
You
know what I'm saying?
That's just standard, really, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
I would have said the same thing. There's a lot of crap out there.
But I think what she was saying is that everything
take, for example,
mentioned,
all the radio shit at the minute.
Radio shit?
Yeah,
Nick Grimshaw.
Just the music that you have to hear on the radio at the minute.
It's just music is awful. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just like good stuff, stop being a fucking idiot.
Exactly. I mean, it comes down to what makes you individual, really, doesn't it?
No. There are things that are good and there are things that are bad. Bad things include Friends.
I agree. I've never really been a fan of Friends.
Alex,
it's one of those things that people always go, oh yeah, Friends, it's funny, yeah, Phoebe. And it's like,
Phoebe, what a load of shit.
I don't know. I guess it's American comedy before I found some American comedy funny.
There are some things in America that are funny, but Friends is not one of them.
Yeah.
Other things that are not good, Community.
Community I started off liking and then grew to dislike more and more as Pete and Michael kept banging on about it constantly.
Kind of, just go and watch Community. Yeah, let's not.
It's like, let's just
a load of
enjoy
shit.
our drinks and listen to some music or something instead of just sitting here just watching people.
Other things that are shit, Big Bang Theory.
No, I disagree.
Oh! Why? It's
Why?
not good. It's awful.
Because Big Bang Theory is one of those programs where everyone can find it funny, including people who are into the stuff that they're into and the people who aren't.
Incorrect.
Why do you not find it funny?
Because there's no good jokes in it. I said this about... I was saying this about Chandler as well. Joey, or Chandler. Get some good fucking material and then come back and be on Friends, yeah? Because even though it stops...
Instead of having his own spin-off?
No, or just on Friends itself. They just didn't have any good material.
I'm surely that could go for like any of the characters, or are you saying
why do people fucking like Friends? It's so shit.
I don't know.
What's wrong with these people?
Is it relatable or something?
Maybe. I don't know. I think you've hit the nail on the head.
I've never found it particularly interesting. It seems to be maybe it was just something I missed out on. But
here's a similar thing: is I know lots of people who loved the In-Betweeners. They said, "Oh yes, my like teen times were just like that." I cannot relate.
Another one that kind of started off good and then trailed off towards the end ridiculously, like into the abyss. And that's more down to kind of the unrealistic situations that weren't really very funny anymore. In the beginning, I think they'd kind of gone for some realism, but towards the end, it wasn't really very funny anymore, and it was more kind of carrying on what was previously funny, just to an extreme.
What a load of shit. Now We'll continue with the toddlers paragraph.
You're going back. How did we? Oh yeah, we started talking about play days, didn't we?
Yeah, that load of old fucking shit.
Peggy bitch.
That's it. I haven't got any bad toddler stories. My mum said I was very good. At that age, she also said if I was... Oh no, wait a minute, sorry. We've just gone back. Where were we?
You're repeating yourself.
Play days. Oh, here we go. I didn't play too much with toys, but I had a blanket that I took everywhere and I called it Shushy.
Shushy.
So there you go, that's a good story.
Shushy.
Shushy. What, did you have a blanket with a name?
I didn't have a blanket with a name, but I did have sort of like teddy bears with funny names. I remember being a fan of Wallace and Gromit, so I ended up calling one Gromit.
Oh, right.
And another one Africa, for some reason. True story, just Africa.
What is that supposed to mean? What is that?
I don't know. It was obviously just something that I thought up in my head when I was a kid, that it was Gromit in Africa.
Gromit and Africa.
Gromit in Africa.
Africa and Gromit.
Africa and Gromit. African Gromit.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you rate this podcast so far?
This podcast
probably one of the shitter ones.
Pretty horrendous. We need
like some more fucking fire in our belly.
I should have brought some games. We could have
We need to get angry about some stuff.
Games.
We need to get angry. What was it that angered us? Oh yeah, tell them the story about the bouncers.
The bouncers.
Don't go, oh actually no, don't, because that's going to be part of our film. Tell them about the film.
Well, the film that we're producing.
Yes.
Won't that give away who the people are depicted in the podcast and in the video?
Yes. Don't do that. Oh god, we're running out. It's just a load of shit again. We need Alex here talking about his plant offers or whatever that old bollocks was he was rambling on about the first week. Yeah, he loved that. That was his little running joke. Bring that back.
Plant offers?
Yeah, do you not... Oh, did you even listen to the first one?
I listened to bits of it. Clearly haven't done my research to come on the show.
Oh, good. It's a good one. Oh, have you seen this? Yeah, wait.
I've been having a look at that actually.
Look at that.
Is it like what?
What a piece of engineering.
Did you produce this?
Nope. Guess who did? Explain what it is to the people at home.
What I'm looking at is a box with what I can assume is a spinning a pyramid on the top of it with Daft Punk's like 4 of Daft Punk's album covers on each side.
It's heavy. What's inside? Well, yeah, why is this so heavy?
Who is it? Did your brother make it or something?
Guess who? Who?
Your brother or?
No.
No.
Guess. Keep going. You will get it probably.
Alex produce it?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's just some old shit that he had to make for...
How come you're in possession?
I'm in possession of this piece because he never took it home and they were going to chuck it in the bin, so I saved it.
So you just grabbed
this was 5 years ago, and now I'm going to break it down for parts.
What was it? An electronic?
Yeah, it was like a little... This spun around and apparently it played Robot Rock out of these little funny speakers.
Oh, okay. What, like a sample or something?
No, it played it like he programmed it into a little chip.
Can we not put the...
Doesn't work, it's all falling apart because of his shoddy design.
Circuits hanging out the back here.
Hanging out the back of it.
Oh, it actually says on it.
Oh, does it?
It does.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's cool, that. Alex Mark II.
You should probably bleep that out.
Alex Mark II? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bleep all that out. That's easy to do, though. We can bleep loads of stuff out.
Oh, good.
Should we say some other stuff we can bleep out?
We could do, but then I feel like that if I say something that's incriminating,
I won't bleep it out.
You might not bleep it out.
I don't know. Do you want to call somebody up? Who
like
should we
who?
call up? I don't know. Should we call up like Michael? Oh, should we call up Michael? We'll put him on the podcast.
No, they're down the pub at the minute.
Are they? Who? What?
Things.
What?
Pete and Mike.
Okay. Shall we ring Pete?
Yeah, go for him.
Okay.
Have you got like a little connector?
No, I'm just going to put him on loudspeaker and we'll hold it up to the thing. Have we got anything to ask him, or should we just say, so you're on the podcast?
What have you got to say? And Pete will probably be like... I can imagine Pete doing one of those... he always does this thing when he picks up the phone. He sort of just says a sentence that I can never hear, and you kind of have to be like...
Wait a minute. Okay, let's see if we can hear. Can you hear that?
Are you right?
Yeah. Are you alright?
Yeah?
You down the pub at the moment?
Yeah, at the White Horse.
Oh yeah, who's there with you?
It's me and Mark coming in. I think Tom's coming down.
Oh really? Sweet. You got anything to say?
About what?
I don't know.
I'm on the podcast right now.
Yeah, you're on the podcast.
Nailed it in one.
Who's there?
Josh is here.
What are you talking about?
Well, we were just looking at some spinning pyramid thing that Alex made.
Some pyramid thing that Alex made.
Some spinning pyramid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually spun. Did it actually spin?
It's supposed to, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, seen any good news recently, Pete?
No, not really.
Are you going to go and... have you whooped Michael at pool yet?
What?
Have you whooped Michael at pool yet?
It's
No.
1 PM at the moment.
Oh.
Has he whooped you at pool yet?
Yeah, Joe.
Oh. Well, that was nice. Thanks for being on the GH&Co podcast.
Thank you for including me.
Goodbye.
Against his own will.
Goodbye. That was good. That's filled up another minute.
Dear oh dearie me.
Oh, we've still got 5 minutes to go.
Is this the first time you've struggled to...
Yeah. I thought Alex was so bad, but I don't know, maybe it's you're the problem.
It's because it's difficult to think of things on the spot, you know?
Woo!
Just chat about things. Plus, you know, you gave him papers. There's no papers for me to look at this time. I could have come up with
I
something.
thought we wouldn't need papers, but I was wrong.
You thought we'd just be that inspired and quick.
I'll lay out the ground rules for the podcast. No talk of local stuff. People who don't live here don't know what we mean. That's it. That's the only rule.
Haven't we spoken about Leastock?
Yeah, that's okay. That's not too bad.
That can be classed as a Suffolk festival, though.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh dear. We just totally run out of stuff to talk
Is
about.
that all you can say? Just yes.
Shall we think of some questions? Shall we have some questions for people to fill in the comments?
Quick fire questions. Yeah, I mean, like, if you give the listeners something to perhaps bring to the next podcast, because
we need some regular features. Think of some regular features that we could have.
Maybe some of those would you rather questions, or
for the listeners.
Is it better to than?
Oh, we can do anecdotes for the listeners can tell us some good anecdotes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can discuss.
Discuss. Who was it? I'll recount Dan's anecdote from the other day. This is Dan's anecdote.
Is that about having a finger pulled off or something?
No, it's worse than that. Here we go. Oh, excuse me. I'll recount it word for word. He was like, all right, so I was at work earlier. They had some of those gluten-free chocolate bars.
Didn't I?
Tastes like a load of old fucking shit. That was his anecdote. What do you think of that? Yeah.
That was his story to tell you for.
Yeah. We were sat around Tom's house and he said, here's one for you boys, you'll like this. And then he just recounted that.
I'm sure he said something like that to me the other day. He was like, we've got a coffee place at work, haven't we? I was like, yeah, and do you sit in it? Nah, got a canteen. It's like, what? How interesting was that information? Thanks for telling me that, Dan.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Let's think of some regular features.
Regular features.
Regular features. Regular features. Do you think people will still be listening? Do you reckon they'll have given up by now?
I reckon this is probably...
No, it's intriguing though, isn't it?
It's probably dead in the water. It's like... This is like that piece of shit that you try and flush away after you've had like Christmas dinner. And you get like that massive log. It's just like the Titanic, but the other way round.
You're definitely ruder than Alex.
Just like a log of shit just stuck to the side of the pan. And you flush it and it just kind of like It goes away for a second and then just appears again. It's kind of like a battering ram against the back of the loo.
Oh god. Oh well, what? Fuck. I don't know. We need some regular features, something that people can join in. We need listeners. Questions.
How can listeners join in with something that's already happened or isn't?
They send us in. They send us in questions and that for the next one.
You need to get like a few more listeners or something so that you can actually have some like little message board.
Yeah. I think that we're going the right way to getting listeners though with this calibre of podcast.
What, by telling people that we know?
Know what?
And we'll definitely tune in, although...
Oh no, I mean just by making podcasts this good, people will listen. If you build it, they will come.
If you make good podcasts...
Yeah, which we do.
This isn't, you know...
What?
You said it yourself.
We need some stuff. Oh god. We've just run out of stuff to say. We could have normal conversations. Let's have a normal conversation. What are we saying? I don't know.
Yeah, weather's a bit shit, isn't it?
Yeah, go bloody weather.
Look at that.
It's raining.
Horrendous weather. Birds seem to like it though.
Yeah. Good weather for ducks, eh?
Like that lemon jolly song. Rasputin.
Rasputin.
Rasputin, he's in the music video.
What music video?
Nice Weather for Ducks.
Oh,
Have you not ever seen that?
What?
The music video for Nice Weather for Ducks.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All the ducks are swimming in the water.
Oh, that song. Yeah. Alex likes that, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I think he was the one who actually showed me that video.
Fucking idiot. Such an odious man.
An odious man. I think you told him. Did you tell him?
I told him that we wrote on the
If
bar.
not, he knows now.
Oh! Here is what we can do. We can start a campaign. Begin a campaign now. Find Clint Friction. We need to track down Clint Friction, and we need Clint Friction.
We need to find out what his actual name is.
Okay. Spread the word.
Because we don't think that Clint Friction is his actual name.
Where does he live? What's that place? Sheringham.
Sheringham, yeah.
If you live in Sheringham, or if you know anybody who lives in Sheringham, or if you know anybody who knows anybody who lives in Sheringham,
If this podcast even makes it that far.
we need to find Clint Friction.
Or someone who goes by the alias of Clint Friction.
That might not
Which
be
is
his real
probably
name.
the likely case.
And we need... How can we do this? We can do Twitter, hashtag who is Clint Friction.
That's not a bad plan, actually. Find Clint Friction.
Find Clint Friction.
Hashtag find Clint Friction.
Hashtag find Clint Friction. He's ungoogleable. I've tried to look him up. He's not on the Facebook.
Well, probably not with a name like Clint Friction.
No, I looked him up. He's just not anywhere.
Clint Friction.
How are we going to
fucking
find
Friction.
Clint Friction? If we get a Twitter hashtag thing going, we can get trending with that with our 4 listeners. I don't have Twitter, so I
Begin
can't
the massive
tweet it.
search of 4 or 5 people.
So yeah, get Clint Friction.
Get involved.
Graffiti, do loads of graffiti over buildings. Find Clint Friction.
We need to somehow get this to a point that you tune into BBC Look East or something like that, and it's like
We're trying to find Clint
Friction, mysterious man who's mentioned on a podcast for 4 listeners.
I heard. Here's another game that we could play. Is try to get on the news or get in the newspaper. I reckon if we make like 10 more podcasts, that we could probably just ring up the Mercury or the Free Press and say, "Oh yeah, did you know that we do a really successful podcast?" And they'd just like take pictures of us, like in here, just like with the papers.
Yeah, but then
moving like this.
our listeners would know that's definitely not the case.
What?
By how we've been talking about.
No,
at the
what's
minute.
not the case? The newspaper thing.
That we're not a popular podcast.
Yeah, but they're not going to know that. Just pretend that we are.
I think you can do something like if you review movies or TV shows or something like that. I think something like Comic-Con lets you go as long as you've reviewed a certain number of things.
What,
Because then you count as part of the media. Which is interesting. I know someone who's actually done that.
We can do reviews. We've already done lots of reviews.
Yeah, of your book.
And also of TV shows and films.
If we could do enough to go to a Comic-Con, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. And we've got a good listenership. Do you reckon we...
Or to go to like some DJ set.
What?
But we need to
We'd just be
review
like, yeah, actually, boys, we do
the media.
quite a popular podcast, and
Yes, we review a lot
should-
on the latest records. And,
you should probably let us into your podcast. And oh no.
Actually, there's a little bone I have to pick actually with Daft Punk at the minute. They still haven't sent me my fucking records.
Oh yeah, what was
I'm
the other
still
thing?
waiting for my records.
You said that they fucked up and they fucking charged you like £4 more.
Yeah, they. I think they were charging £24 for the vinyl, and I thought, well, you know what, I'll pick that up because it's cheaper than the Amazon version.
£24.
And then they fucking put the price down.
Unlucky.
They put it down to 20 quid. And they did it on the Amazon one as well, so that was like even worse. It was just like, oh, I bought it directly from Daft Punk and I could have cancelled the Amazon one.
What a load of fucking shit.
But then they emailed me and said, you know, we're going to refund you £4, so that kind of made it okay. But they still haven't sent me my records, so I'm still...
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Sure what?
They've not sent you your records?
Well, they're not in my house.
Oh, you know,
And I haven't received any card unless
You
like
said
the
that the card...
mailman's-
You said that your mum had the card.
No, that was something else.
Fucking hell.
That wasn't actually the...
Well, you
records
never
in
know.
it. I was going to email them earlier, but I forgot.
You never know. You might get lucky and it might never turn up.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Agree or
Andy
disagree?
is not a fan of the album. I think the album is okay, but nothing more than okay. I still want the vinyl though. I'd still like to see it. And I think that Giorgio by Moroder was not what it should have been.
Interesting.
Not very representative of the man himself.
Yeah, I agree.
Synthesizer.
Is what it called is I have it just one more time.
Oh, that was my favorite song.
I decided to tour a few years ago.
So I got together with a few people and I thought, what can I do to further my career?
One more time. We've nearly done an hour now. Done like an hour and 3 minutes.
An hour and 3 minutes.
Oh, that was a fucking trial, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'll turn it off now. I'll turn it off and we can say what we really think. Oh, those people who were listening, there's a load of idiots, isn't it? What a bunch of funny idiots. Oh yeah, that was the thing. It was Michael at Lee Stock when there were some people just dancing around. It affronted him so much. There were people, I don't know if you were there, but there was these people just dancing around. Michael was like, why are these people dancing around? What are they dancing around for? And we were just like, well, it's just like a festival. Michael was like, what a bunch of stupid idiots.
Sounds like an 80-year-old woman.
What a bunch of stupid idiots.
What a silly cunt.
You stupid cunt.
Yeah, but he was like, I'm sure he was dancing. He always, it always makes me laugh with Michael when he goes to dance or something. He always just sort of goes,
Well, I mean, just...
he just looks like so horrendously uncomfortable.
It makes me laugh that Michael goes to, like,
Has
hospitality
this
nights.
stopped recording, by the way?
No.
I didn't think it had, no.
No, that was a joke.
Yes.
But I will be stopping recording in a minute, as the listeners will be pleased to hear.
Excellent.
Well, shall we... Yeah, we'll wrap it up now.
We'll wrap it up.
I think this has been the worst podcast ever.
There was no topics to discuss. Give me a paper. And
We were even just like it was less interesting than just normal chat that we'd have.
It's because you're on record and it's like
Yeah.
you have to think about what you're saying and which names you name.
Actually, yeah, if you've listened to this podcast and found it to be abhorrent, please let us know and write in the comment section a short essay on why it was so shit and why you think we're so shit.
We should just give them a form as to why you thought.
You can always send us a message if you exceed the word
Is there an
count.
email address?
There is, but I don't check it. Just send me a message to the YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Send me a message and let me know what you think.
Okay.
Okay,
Good
well,
show, good
that's
show.
probably the worst one.
Yeah.
We're going to end it now. Oh, well, I don't know. I might not have you on again.
Fair enough.
I might get some better people to come on it. All right, okay. Thanks for listening.
All right.
This has
goodbye.
been Greenhill&Co Show, Episode 3. You be safe. Thanks for listening.
Stay sharp.